Hey guys, it's Q&A Tuesday. First question comes from Charles Dean. Roman, another great video as usual. Thank you, Charles. I look forward to your videos every week. I know you like AP, but you seem to have so many different brands, shapes, sizes, and complications. Do you ever have a problem buying watches that you don't find attractive or fit your style? Is buying most watches just a pure business decision based on numbers? Keep up the good work, and thanks again for the content. I have a video coming out of some action at IWJG show where I really try to show in detail some of the buying, and I actually included numbers of what I paid for a lot of things in that video. So here's how I look at things when it comes to our particular business. When people ask me what do I do for a living, I don't tell them I'm a watch dealer or a jeweler. And the reason for that is because we're an IT shop first and foremost, IT shop, information and technology. We're an online business. My background is in IT. This is what I used to do for a living before I started all this stuff. So I am definitely a numbers guy. It's very hard not to have your own personal taste influence your buying. And as a rule of thumb in my business, specifically, especially when it comes to jewelry, by the way, is odds are if you buy something that only you like, you will not be as successful. We're a $100 million plus company a year. So for us, it's not a matter of taking a watch, flipping a watch, or selling a ring and something like that and looking at that profit. On a weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis, I do financial reviews. I look at all my numbers. I look at all my margins. I look at all the expenses. I compare it to, and I see where I'm at. I know exactly how much I need to make on a watch. I know exactly what my reasonable profit margins are. So, and to the penny. If you ever took a look at my books, you'll see I can tell you my expenses down to the last paperclip that gets bought in this office, right? But there is a part of the buying process that is based on shapes, sizes, complications, and brands. And the reason for that is because there are certain models that are not as popular today versus the other ones. But that doesn't mean I don't buy them. It just means that I have to buy them at a particular price, and that's really return on investment over time, right? So if I know that this watch is may take me 6 months to sell, I know I have to make a much bigger margin on it versus a popular Royal Oak, which I can sell in 3 days and make 3% margin versus, let's say, 10% margin. That's really where the difference comes in. I can put a price on pretty much anything that's out there. It's just the buying price will just depend on how quickly I feel I can sell that particular item. And the last thing I guess I'm going to mention, the reason I buy everything, because I believe in diversity. I was here in 2008 when everything hit the fan. And I've seen guys sticking to one particular thing. For example, only the hot models. I'm not the guy that's going to hold all the popular Richard Milles in stock all the time, all the popular Royal Oaks, because the margins of them are not great. Yeah, they'll move over fast, but I'm also the guy that looks at risk. I assess certain risk. And what goes up must always come down. When the bubble happened in 2008, I knew guys that specialized in nothing but Patek Philippe, and the prices went through the roof. Guess what? Overnight, all that stuff dumped 50%. Where are those businesses now? A lot of them are out of business, unfortunately. So I make sure that I diversify, and I diversify greatly, because what's popular today may not be as popular tomorrow. What's super hot today, trading at a high price, supply can drastically increase because we don't control it. The manufacturers do, and all of a sudden those pieces are not trading at the price that I thought I would sell them for, and all of a sudden I'm stuck with millions of inventory that I have to lose money on rather than make money. The business model we're in is very similar to that of just investing out in the stock market, right? You know, you want to diversify your portfolio. You don't want to have all your money sitting in Apple stock, for example, right? Although I think that's a good investment. Nevertheless, diversity is a very big key, and that's why I buy a little bit of everything across watches and jewelry just the same, as well as accessories that we sell. I try to diversify as much as possible to reduce risk. And again, by basing my buying on return on investment over X amount of time and paying that price based on that, and diversifying at the same time is probably the reason I think we've been successful in business for almost the last 17 years. Hope that answers your question. Next question comes from Nubuchadnezzar. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce that, but I hope you know who you are based on the question I read off. Hi, Roman. Thank you for the great videos. You're welcome. I'm a fan, and I have a question for you regarding the AP Royal Oak Chrono Platinum and Titanium, the 26331 IP, and I'll have Ian pop that on the screen. Do you think it's a hot piece? Will it erode in resale value over the years or hold its value? Any other overall comments about the watch? I have the blue chrono with silver dials, and I'm thinking about trading it in for the platinum titanium version. Any feedback from you would be much appreciated. Keep up the good work. Easy answer here. There is no answer to that. Again, right now AP is hot. Anything they put out there sells like hotcakes. Any of the new Royal Oaks are selling over list, including the IP watch. I've had that watch. I think I showed it in the Hong Kong episode where I did a What's on My Desk. I had the plain one. with the platinum bezel, and I had the Royal Oak with the platinum bezel. I think it's a hot watch because it does look a little bit different than the regular Royal Oaks. For those that know will know that's a different watch. You won't see as many of those out on somebody's wrist as the one that you have. For me, you taking your steel Royal Oak and trading it up for that, I don't see it making any sense. And the reason for that is because you're getting the same exact watch. It's a Royal Oak Chrono. This one is not any more special than your watch and vice versa. And I feel like you should just stick with the watch that you have instead of laying out additional money. I would rather see you take that difference that you would have to pay between the two and add a little more money to it and maybe get a different watch. Just because I don't see the IP pieces going through the roof anytime soon. They're sort of going to be trading at that same market value they are trading at today, plus minus, depending on how much stuff is out there. But they're not anything special in the sense that's something that will go up in price over time. I've told you guys numerous times, watches are not an investment, they're expensive toys. If you like this IP, the look of this IP better than the Royal Oak that you're wearing now, and you may be tired of that one and want to trade up to this one, no problem, do that. If anything, your Royal Oak is probably going to go up in value more than the other one because the other one is already so expensive out of the gate. Hope that answers your question. Next question is going to be from Fennel Parekh. Again, I'm not sure I got your name right. I have a question I've given up on getting a steel Daytona from an AD and now thinking about a white, yellow, gold Daytona, full gold, or Oysterflex. Could you please advise on which model to choose? I'm leaning towards white gold blue dial, white gold on an Oysterflex, or full white gold steel dial. Thank you, and I really appreciate your videos. I'll just tell you what I mean, I absolutely love a white gold Daytona with a blue dial. I think that watch is gorgeous. As far as Oysterflex, you just have to be careful with it. I love the Oysterflex. I like the flexibility of a rubber band. I like the white gold one with that grayish dial, or grayish bluish dial, I guess. But with Oysterflexes, you have to be careful because the least popular Daytonas were the ones on a strap, right? So you really have to consider that fact that yes, they're hot today. You'd be hard pressed to pick up that Oysterflex I just mentioned for less than retail. They're trading at retail pretty much, even on the secondary market. And even if it's pre-owned, you're still looking to save maybe $1,000 or $2,000 at most. But I think in the long run, they may suffer the same fate as its predecessors. Much like the Skydweller. The first Skydweller they came out with was the one on the strap, right, in gold. And those don't really trade all that well, especially the white gold one. You know, the value of that one is really down in comparison to its retail price. The Skydweller that debuted on a strap, it was hot in the beginning. I think they were selling at 10 to 20% off retail, which is pretty good for a gold expensive watch. Once they came out with the bracelet models, the value of those went down, and it went down tremendously. Of course, they already have a Daytona on bracelets out there, gold, steel, or whatever, so that's really not the case for the Daytonas. But if you look at history, and you just go online, if you look at old Daytonas on straps, they're not really selling all that hot. And the reason for that is because most people prefer to have a Daytona on a bracelet. So if I had to tell you which one to choose, I would definitely go with white gold blue dial. It's a striking, good looking watch. I love that particular watch. Everybody knows it's white gold because of the dial. That would be the one I would choose. And I'm going to take one more from the same gentleman. It was kind of like a follow-up question there. And his question was, do you think the AirKing 116-900 will be a future hit or might go up in value in the future? It's just a very different and unique looking Rolex compared to its current catalog. To answer your question quickly and abruptly, absolutely not. That watch in our business is known as the dog, specifically the dial on that watch. It's a dial that people are not really used to. And again, the AirKing is quote unquote the poor man's Rolex, right? It's the cheapest they have in their line. It has nothing but hours and minutes displayed on the watch. The AirKings, the Day Just, a lot of the lower Rolex end line, people still have in the back of their head that it's that cheap Rolex, because back in the day, those things used to trade for $1,000 to $2,000. Now it has gone up in value since, and the reason it has gone up in value, not because this watch became more popular, it's because Rolex became more popular overall, and a lot of the models out there, they've become unaffordable. I don't see this as a future collectible, and the reason for that is I dare you to go online and find me an old AirKing that trades at some ridiculous amounts of money. If you go on eBay, and in fact, let's go on eBay. Rolex AirKing. And I'm gonna sort this by highest first, right? Let's see, best match, no. The first thing I find is the watch that you're actually asking about, the 116900, which is encrusted with aftermarket diamonds for $11,000, so we can't count that one. The next one down is a Rolex Air-King Sultan Antique Vintage 1970s for $8,900. Some of these older vintage Rolexes that have some sort of a logo on them from royalty from the Middle East, they do tend to fetch prices, but as you see, it's not $80,000, it's $8,000. Let's see, here's an old Rolex Air-King, a 5500 for 7500 best offer. There's a slew of the ones that you asked about, anywhere from $7,000 new down to about $6,000. And that's about it. So there's not a whole lot out there at a ridiculous price. And if you look at some auction results, and I'm not gonna go on going on Christie's and stuff like this, there's really not a whole lot out there. You've seen plenty of Daytonas fetch buku numbers at auctions. You've seen plenty of Submariners, et cetera, but not Air-Kings. And the biggest reason is because they probably make way too many of these, because this today is the most affordable Rolex, and people will go for that when they want a Rolex, but you know, they have to sort of get in on that first floor and not go for one that's 10, 20, 30,000. Hope that answers your question. Well guys, that's it for me for today. I always keep forgetting to do this on my Q&A Tuesday. What's on my wrist? And you guys remind me from time to time, and I end up answering in the comments. But I decided to put away some of the vintage watches I've been wearing. Last week I think I wore an old yellow gold Daytona. Today I decided to go with something a little bit newer. And yes, you guessed it, it's a Richard Mille. This is the Richard Mille Midnight Fire limited edition. Limited edition to 88 pieces. PVD titanium case, red rubber strap, to sort of match the red on the inside, red numbers. Aesthetically, very, very cool watch. Pretty loud, if you ask me, but yet subdued by the PVD. Nevertheless, that's what I'm wearing. Guys, as always, if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Comment your questions below. These videos are only possible due to the fact that you guys ask me so many great questions. Keep them coming. I don't care if somebody's asked a question before. Comment questions below. I try to do my best to get to all of them. Obviously, I can. Nevertheless, also remember, if you're not subscribed to my channel and you are watching this, hit the subscribe button. It means a lot to me. Share this video with friends that you think may enjoy this content and love watches as much as you do. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next Tuesday.